In the early years of the 18th century, Russia was being pulled into a new shape by Peter the Great. He built ships, founded academies, drilled armies, and forced an old kingdom toward a future it did not fully understand. To his supporters, he was a builder of empire. To his critics, he was a destroyer of sacred custom. At the center of that conflict stood his son Alexei, a quiet man with an uneasy face and a stubborn heart. Alexei did not share his father's hunger for change. He preferred the old rituals, the old church ways, and the old noble habits that Peter was determined to break. Where Peter saw movement, Alexei saw loss. Where Peter demanded reform, Alexei longed for retreat. The tension between them was not loud at first. It lived in unanswered letters, in cold meetings, in the heavy silence of a son who never seemed to meet his father's gaze for long. Peter wanted obedience from his heir, but Alexei gave him hesitation. He disliked the wars, disliked the pressure on the nobility, and quietly drew near to men who hoped the reforms could one day be undone. That made the matter larger than a private dispute. Peter had spent years fighting to secure Russia's future, and now the future seemed to be gathering around a man who wanted to turn backward. The emperor began to see his son not as a disappointment, but as a danger. If Alexei inherited the throne, Peter believed the work of a lifetime could be erased in a generation. The confrontation came in 1718. Alexei was brought before a special court, questioned, judged, and stripped of his rights to succeed. The isolation that followed was severe. He was confined in the Peter and Paul fortress, separated from the world and from any hope of return. The father who had once demanded loyalty now held absolute power over the fate of the son who had withheld it. Months later, Alexei died in confinement. Whether the tragedy was the result of illness, punishment, or the crushing weight of fear and pressure, it became one of the darkest moments in the Romanov story. A son was lost, a father was hardened, and the dynasty was changed forever. Afterward, Peter altered the rules of succession so that imperial power would no longer simply pass by birth alone. The decision was meant to prevent another such crisis, but it also revealed the cost of ruling by force when family and state collide. It was never only a family quarrel, it was a struggle between memory and reform, between inheritance and invention, between a father who believed history must be broken open and a son who believed it should be preserved. In the end, Russia moved forward, but through a wound that never fully closed. If I had been in Peter's place, I would have feared the same danger he saw, but I would have wondered whether power can truly be secured when a father cannot persuade his own heir.